Three, two, one. Jeff Gordon here from the Post-Dispatch, joined by our Blues beat reporter, Matthew DeFranks from Dallas. So let's get the stage set for the beginning of the season. The Blues open up at Dallas against the Loaded Stars, come back to get the upstart Coyotes at home. Let's start with Doug Armstrong's view of this team. The upper tier of the middle tier is what he's hoping for in the Western Conference. Not exactly shooting for the stars, Matthew, but I think it's a realistic assessment from Doug Armstrong.
Yeah, it was very interesting to hear him kind of speak honestly and openly, transparently, as transparent as a middling team has ever been at the start of the season, I want to say. The funniest thing to me that I found is half the fans were saying he was shooting too low, half the fans were saying he was shooting too high, and that's probably means he's correct, right? But the fact is that they're not going to be a Stanley Cup contender like they have in the past, and they're too good to be a tanking team down shooting for the first overall pick, and that's just the reality of things. And honestly, it's probably a pretty good thing that Doug Armstrong can have the self-awareness to evaluate his team in this way, that clear-mindedness that allowed him to sell last year at the trade deadline, that allowed him to sell a few years ago when they missed the playoffs and traded Paul Stastny. That's a helpful thing moving forward when you're going through a retool, transition, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. But it was definitely something to hear him say, yeah, we'd like to get third place. That would be great. And basically like Minnesota, Nashville, Winnipeg, we'll see. So definitely something that we don't see a lot of times from general managers of NHL teams, especially ones going through this type of thing.
All right, so for Blues fans to look at this team, getting its first real game look at the squad for the first couple games, pick one thing they have to see from this team in these first couple games to give them any sense of optimism.
Yeah, I'm going to point to the obvious and just go with the defense. They switched up their defensive zone coverage a little bit, tweaked it to be a little bit more of a zone. It's not a true zone, but they broke the zone into quadrants and have the four guys responsible there, and then the center kind of roaming around in the middle. So they've changed it up a little bit. They liked how they protected the slot area during the preseason, but it's preseason. We'll see how it looks when they go against maybe the best line in hockey in Dallas, and we'll see how it looks going against Seattle on Saturday. And it'll just be a lot of different tests coming up for defense that wasn't very good last year. And I think that would be the first sign of hope, is if they're limiting grade A chances, if they're able to keep guys out of the home plate area and defend their own zone.
That's Matt. I'm Jeff. We'll be back with more Blues videos all season here on STLtoday.com.